I don't know if you can hear my fan. I am hot. It's summer in New York, so we are having a bit of a, not really a heat spell, but it's hotter than normal. Okay, so much for the break. So I'm going to do one stitch, and we'll just do one stitch for each one that's actually there. I sew into because, and I don't sew at the back off or front, I just sew into it because to me that's the best way to, oops, I think I missed a stitch here. So that's one, and then we do one. Okay, so I am actually, I'm thinking the camera should be in front of me, well, in front of my chest, because it's a little, so we're just going to do one row around to let the increased row settle, and so I can see if that actually worked. So that means the entire bottom is going to be this portion, because from here on it's going to go up. And then we're going to have to decide on the stitch we're going to use, because I want it to be visible already. So question is, do we do just a regular stitch, a single crochet? I don't want to do double crochet, because what's going to happen is that it's going to be too holy. No, what I mean is it's going to show a lot of cracks or empty spaces. I don't want it to be transparent, even if there is that option of putting in a lining, which I probably will do. So we're doing that. Is my needle bending? I'm beginning to feel like my needle might be bending. So I can actually feel it here. I'm trying to concentrate. Okay. I'm sure people will have comments about how I crochet. Like I said, I've been crocheting since I was in my teens, and I am now almost 60. Not quite, I'm 57. I like doing wearables. I'd like to start with the dolls, but I don't really have use for those. I have a son, and my niece is too big for dolls, so I mostly create for myself. But I'm thinking, is this something that I can do and sell on the shop? I do know it's going to be painful on the hands if I do this. Oh, why am I doing wrong stitch? That happens. One thing I like about crochet is, and even when you're doing a pattern, if you know your pattern already, you can get lost in it, and you don't have to sort of like pay attention to every loop and purl, or every loop and stitch that you do. can just keep going and keep going, and then just count again. I don't do stitch counters. Sometimes I will use a safety pin or something to mark, especially when it's a complicated pattern that needs, like when you have to let the next stitch land on a different portion, or you skip stitches and you have to turn the whole thing around. That's the only time I would use stitch markers. But I don't really have them on hand. I make do. And I think that's more useful in knitting. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really knit fancy. I only knit straight stitches. Like I said, I sort of jazz it up by using fancy yarn or combining different sizes of stitches to make for some variety in the finished product. Am I going off camera? I hope not. So, okay. I keep complaining, I know, and I keep looking how far I am from the end point of the row. It is a struggle. So this is something I'm going to have to think about. Is this really something you want to do, Dina? One other useful craft I wanted to experiment with this bag bottoms is actually basket weaving, or weaving the bag into the bag bottom. So I figured, okay, that's another, and I've done that. I've created baskets, not really purses, and that's another project I want to do. I've seen them on Etsy, but the way I weave my baskets is a little different, and the way I create the so-called straws to weave with is a little more involved. There's several steps to the process, but it does come out better. So the problem with working with paper as a base for basket projects is that you have to be mindful of the season you're working with paper, because the humidity in the air affects how workable any form of paper crafts are. So it doesn't mean just because you want to work on it, it will be a go. So that's one limitation I have. Back in the Philippines, we're always warm there, so that was never an issue. You can create the base straw very easily. The glue would dry promptly. There was, of course, and I used to use the walistingting, which is a straw broom that we have in the Philippines, which of course you can't find here. So it was made of very fine, I'd say, I think those were spines of palm leaves, was it? Or coconut leaves. So it was very sturdy, but thin, and you could easily make thin straws out of it. Of course, you can create thicker paper straws for basket weaving, but I like the size of those. It was finer. It's almost like you could create maybe 5 to 6 millimeter straws, which is very nice to work with for basket weaving. So there's so many crafts that I want to get into again. Not even new crafts, but just crafting, period. But I've been very busy. I've been on YouTube. My main channel will be in the description link below. But it's not about crafting. I was thinking of doing the crafting there, but I figured, no, it's a totally different audience. And I wanted that to focus more on New York. and I wanted to do my crafting here. So I said, okay, let's revive the Gotham Chick channel. Let's see if people will actually watch. If they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. Right? Oops, sorry again. So I'm hoping that as I get more used to the Raffia, I'll be able to work with it faster and with better ease. And come up with other interesting projects. And I'm thinking of a way to make earrings. As you can see, we still have quite a lot from what we started from. So I'm seeing, like I said, maybe 2 inches. We'll see later. So one idea is for me to just keep going and see how far the spool of thread will go. I am looking at a bucket bag with a height of maybe, I'd say, I'm looking at the bucket bag with a height of, I'd say 8 inches, because I want it to be something easy to carry for bar hopping or at the restaurants. Not a tote. I want to be able to embellish it, so that's the other thing. So the nice thing is it's easy to sew stuff or string stuff onto raffia. It will hold the stones. The question in my mind right now is, do I sew them on with regular thread, or will I use acrylic thread, or will I attach them with fine wire like gauge 28. So while I'm working on this, I'm also trying to decide, am I just going to keep it going straight as a tube, or am I going to increase and create something? Maybe for my first project, I'm going to just do a straight tube. So we're just going to keep crocheting and crocheting row after row after row. My next update for this project might be when I'm about to finish this spool, because you wouldn't want to be listening to me blabbing on and me not showing anything remarkable except doing single crochet on my crochet bucket bag. So see, I told you we needed to sew with the little feet facing us. So now we're working on creating the body. So after this row and the next row, this will actually stand because we are not increasing anymore. So if you want a wider bag, you can actually keep increasing. I would do, rule of thumb, if you wanted to increase another row, on the 5th, I would increase and make it a double, because the increase row that we did was stitch 4, extra 1 on the 4th. So if you want to keep increasing, I would do stitch 5, extra 1 on the 5. So that will make for 6. Hey, it's taking shape. So another video I want to make really is about my art journal. I have the materials, I have the pages, but I just really haven't had the chance to sit down and do it and create and do stuff. We're almost there. Yay. So this 3 rows, as you can see, took me almost an hour. So this is something that would be nice to bring along, do on your lunch break or at the beach when you're not doing stuff. So I'm going to try and finish the spool before the weekend, hopefully. And I will upload a video as I finish that row so you see. And I think I will need to order at least 2 more spools, depending on where that brings me. And I have already started thinking about the stones I will embellish this with. I was thinking magnesite, just like a faux turquoise. I have that in white and turquoise, and that goes well with coral or red magnesite. I also have, what red stones? Gold is for me, a lot of people use turquoise or magnesite with silver, but my preferred metal accompaniment to that stone is really gold. I saw Ralph Lauren create a very beautiful piece of dangling beads as a loose necklace, and it was just so elegant. I tried to do that for a friend. I don't know if that turned out well because I was sort of hurrying through it, but that's something we can work on as a future project. So the nice thing here is that the start and end of the row is very obvious, so that's why I don't do stitch counters. So there it is. So we're just going to connect, pull through. Don't kill me, this is how I end my row, and enter the stitch. There you go. So the actual diameter of the bottom of the bag is going to be approximately from here to here. And the third row is actually going to start to rise because it's the same number of stitches. You won't see that just yet, so that's going to actually curve up this way. So it's going to be like this. It's going to curve up this way. And hopefully by the weekend, I can show you the follow-up video showing the progress on our bag. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me again. And I don't know if I will do the pink square bag before I finish this or during, but do stick around, hit the subscribe button, like button, and leave a comment if you have any suggestions or critique of how I'm making the bag. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and happy crocheting, happy crafting.